What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing there, man? Hey, this go out to all my new subscribers. I know y'all probably didn't hear this. All my new subscribers, I know y'all would vote for me if I ran for president. And I'm gonna tell you why. Watch this.
If I was the president, man, I'll stand on my word. I own up to my mistake, let the truth be heard. Talk about them files Trump said he would release. Maybe we never seen them, cause one ain't can be you in that piece. I show the people how the whole damn White House work. Ain't gonna hide nothing in the shadows, no dirt. And if it's something I don't get, we gon' vote on that. Cause this power ain't mine, it's the people, and that's a fact. Now tell me why kids getting tossed over that border wall. 13 to the same address, don't that sound off at all? Homeland looking blind, like they don't see the sign. Folks getting fired if they speak or step out of line. We letting strangers claim folks with no ID in hand. And we wonder how the traffickers keep building their plan. But if I was president, I'd flip that script. Random house check, we just looking for the kids, man. If I was the president, the streets would have a voice. We build this thing together, every vote, every choice. I don't know it all, but I never fake the truth. I ask the people every day, what should we do? If I was the president, the streets would have a voice. We build this thing together, every vote, every choice. I don't know it all, but I never fake the truth. I ask the people every day, what should we do? I teach the laws in school from the root to the crown. So when you break one, there's no excuse when they lock you down. People think police gotta read your rights on the spot, but I break it down clear, know the law get got. Yeah, now if you voted for me, that means we share the throne. So we gon' vote on every big decision, not just my own. Tell me why this government even gotta shut down. I put the power in your hand, let the people break it down. What's up with Area 51? What they hiding in there? Tell the truth to the people, stop the secrets and fear. Somebody tell me straight what the VP really do. Do they stand there and smile? We need something brand new. And these so-called rights being flipped in the game. Now the bad guy walks free, why they helpless get blamed? We gotta help people first, that's the mission I'm on. And if I don't have the answer, we gonna vote till it's gone. If I was the president, I listen before I leap. Ask the people what they want, what they hope, what they need. No more secrets in the dark, no more lies in disguise. We'll stand as one nation, no more hiding the lies. If I was the president, the streets would have a voice. We build this thing together, every vote, every choice. I don't know it all, but I never fake the truth. I ask the people every day, what should we do? If I was the president, the streets would have a voice. We build this thing together, every vote, every choice. I don't know it all, but I never fake the truth. I ask the people every day, what should we do? If I was the president.
That's one of the songs that's on Uncle Mike's album, y'all. I got 2 albums that I dropped just so I can say I dropped some albums because I got all this equipment, right? I'm not all that good of a recording artist. But then again, I have seen some recording artists come through this door. I'm like, what in the world do you... That's what make you a better producer. Anyway, Jay-Z, y'all. If I was the president, Jay-Z would have to take that DNA test. But check this out, y'all. This is what I found out. And this is law. Because this man is an adult, he's a grown man, and he pointing the finger at Jay-Z, you don't have to take a DNA test because of one grown man saying that to another grown man that you my daddy. I don't know where they get these laws from, but if I was the president, I'd take that one off the books. Yo, I'm sorry it took him 30-something years to find you, but now that he found you, let's see if you are the daddy. It won't be no back child support or something, but let's just answer these questions first, man. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's get into this video, man. Here we go. So
Eric Jackson, a content creator, has revealed some very important information about the Tidal business venture of Jay-Z and how it basically not only was a failure for some aspects, but he basically used a lot of artists for promotion and then didn't give them what they actually expected.
Like
and so
Nicki
we're going to do a
Minaj.
quick deep dive, a mini deep dive on this whole facade, this business breakdown, and how horrific it is. Hey guys, I'm Rob Morali. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. Daily and consistent content. Do subscribe to the channel, and let's get straight into this video. It's just one click to subscribe. So we know, guys, that Jack Dorsey, who is basically on the board of CashApp Block Inc., bought out Tidal. And of course, Jay-Z is now on that board, and to be on that board and to be such an access to so many people on that board and to be a billionaire is, significant. But Jay-Z stood on that stage, guys, in 2015. We all remember when he stood on that stage with Beyonce, with Rihanna, with Kanye West. Madonna was even there as well. J. Cole was there. Nicki Minaj was there. So many other huge artists were all there together, all promoting this new streaming service. Now, when I saw that, I thought that Tidal was about to be the biggest thing. Apple Music, Spotify were about to be, down the drain. Tidal was about to take over everything, because you've got all of these big artists who were there to promote something very revolutionary, which was the idea that the artist was actually owning the label. It wasn't just about promoting the label. All of those artists standing there were meant to have a percentage and equity within Tidal, but that is not what it seems. So for years, many people believed that these artists will basically own 3% of Tidal. And when Jack Dorsey Square bought the company in 2021 for nearly $300 million, many assumed that these artists basically walked away with massive paydays. But the SEC filings, the court documents, and the public records actually tell a very different story, and they did not walk away with that money at all. So the launch event included a declaration about ownership. And for almost a decade, people argued over ownership percentages, and there was no legal paperwork. In 2017, guys, Sprint invested $200 million for 1/3 of Tidal. Not Trial. Let me make up a whole new name, John. Once Sprint invested $200 million into Tidal, this massively increased the net worth, because now it was valued roughly at $600 million, because Sprint have come in to basically invest 1/3. Headlines reported that Jack Dorsey's Square then bought Tidal for $297 million in 2021. Fast forward from 2017 investment, launched in 2015, and the 2021 purchase from Block Inc. from Jack Dorsey. However, the SEC filings show that Jack Dorsey Square company actually paid $232.2 million for 86% of the company. That implies a total company valuation of $269 million. But that is bizarre, because in 2017, the company was valued at $600 million. So in actual fact, guys, it was worth less than what it was before by half. So despite the positive headlines, Tidal's valuation had actually fallen dramatically from 2017 to 2021. Big time. Another surprise from the filings is that the artists were not actually bought out. Instead, they remained minority shareholders. Jay-Z became the only artist named in the filings after joining Square's board. Everyone else was actually grouped together. All of these big artists unknowingly were grouped together, or knowingly, as unnamed minority interests. And so therefore, this is a very different form of ownership to what the public imagined, to what I imagined back in 2015, and to what some of these people on the stand with Jay-Z probably imagined as well. They imagined that when this was sold to another company, that they were going to get their share and it was going to be a lot more. But in actual fact, they became minority interests only. They were all grouped together. We all know Tidal failed. It was a struggling business. From 2017 to 2021, you've lost half of your net worth. That is absolutely insane. It reportedly lost, guys, tens of millions of dollars every year. And according to court documents referenced in the video, Jay-Z even loaned the company $50 million from his own money to basically keep it afloat and to basically make it survive, because it was having so many issues. Later, Block, Jack Dorsey's company, the company formerly known as Square, wrote down over $200 million of Tidal's value through impairment charges. That suggests the business continued to underperform even after the acquisition. Now, when we look at Nicki Minaj's comments that she was offered money to sign paperwork, and that, because she missed out on this, she's missed out on so much money, and it was basically a big flop from her for not signing on properly. Well, clearly that isn't the case, because a lot of these artists didn't even get their ownership from basically when the company was sold. Using the company's various valuations, guys, you could argue that even a 3% ownership stake would have been worth far less than some figures discussed publicly. So it's all about ownership, right? And what ownership looks like, and what you actually own, and can you sell it back, how much you can sell it back for, can you get it all written down, in a filing, in a paper. And it genuinely looks like that a lot of these artists were essentially duped by Jay-Z into something that might look like something, but really and truly it's not. It's actually something else. And so therefore, this is probably why so many of these artists, like Kanye West, in multiple reports, wanted to back out from Tidal, because he realized that he was being grouped as some kind of minority shareholder, when all of them being grouped together, and that actually wasn't what he was promised behind the scenes. And it was actually only Jay-Z who was able to even go to the board of Jack Dorsey's company, and Jack Dorsey of course helped him out in a way. And it is very interesting that Jack Dorsey's company, Block Inc., which owns CashApp, actually are facing significant amount of financial lawsuits, as we know, and they recently settled one for roughly 50-60 million, I believe. Don't quote me on that, you know, that's an alleged amount. I can't remember what the exact financial amount was, but they've been facing so many financial lawsuits since 2025 to now, and they've had to settle as well quietly because that was the only way to basically get through with it. So that in itself is very interesting, that Tidal basically, you know, was duped so many of these celebrities. Jay-Z was the one that was basically able to benefit by selling it off, you know, to his friend Jack Dorsey, but then also to get on the board of Jack Dorsey's company as well. A lot of these artists had to back out. A lot of these artists were grouped together as minority shareholders, and they, you know, that 3% actually wasn't a lot in regards to what it could be in terms of selling. The company Tidal failed, and it looks like he basically just kind of used a message to basically promote himself only and not anybody else, and that was probably the plan from the beginning, and that in itself is a very interesting mindset to have. So the marketing messages that artists were presented as owners of Tidal, creating the impression they all had significant ownership stakes. However, the legal reality, according to the public filings, most artists ended up as minority shareholders with limited control and no guaranteed way to cash out, whilst Jay-Z became the only artist to join Square's board after the sale. He was the only one able to advance himself. The company lost value. Tidal's valuation fell substantially between 2017 and 2021 after the Sprint investment, so even artists held equity. If they did, it was worth much less than people actually assumed. So it was a complete failed business deal. How are you going to have J. Cole, Madonna, Beyonce, Rihanna, Nicki, everybody's lined up together now, ready to sign this? And even if they did have equity, which probably some of these celebrities did because they had to sign on for whatever Jay-Z was asking them for, because the company lost so much with valuation, their equity was going to be far low as it is anyways. So the conversation of the fact that Nicki or Kanye backed out and it was a big mistake for these artists to back out, well, evidently not, because the company lost literally so much from 2017 onwards. And isn't it funny that Jay-Z was the only one that was able to advance onto the board, and that he essentially used the likeness and image, you could say, of a lot of these artists. And because he was doing or moving like this in this way, you could say allegedly this has bothered artists and perhaps caused ruptures in their relationships with him. So yeah, minority shareholders generally have little control, guys, over when or how they can sell their shares. And that in itself is a problem when you're investing a lot of money into a company and your likeness and your image by being publicly there as well. The value of those shares depended on Tidal's performance, and the company obviously struggled financially, and many media reports focused on the headline purchase price without examining the underlying SEC filings. So a big shout out to Eric Jackson. It's gone completely viral on the app X, and he's got a YouTube channel as well. You guys can check him out there and, you know, subscribe to him and, you know, watch his videos if you guys want to. But basically, from, you know, in other words, Carter basically has been accused of leveraging the other artists' brands for his own benefit. Tidal was already a lost cause when Jay-Z sold it. Someone says it doesn't work because the artist didn't unify. Tidal was paying the most per stream and could have had equity, but they sold out to the highest bidder, illustrating how capital can overpower labor. Jay-Z would have been foolish not to take that deal for a struggling company, which is true from his perspective. Like, he better be grateful to Jack Dorsey for life that he actually came in and saved him. Otherwise, it would have been so much money basically been lost on the cards. And, you know, anybody would have taken that deal considering that Tidal's valuation was basically going down the drain. Let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to this video, guys. Do subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way. I would appreciate it. It's just one click to subscribe. And I will catch you guys soon for another video. Hold on now, Chuck. Hang on, end this video with this. There's a post that I wanted to talk about here. All 16 co-owners of Tidal reportedly received $8.9 million payout following Jay-Z's recent deal. Beyonce, Kanye, Rihanna, Nicki, and more included. Well, that basically doesn't seem to be the case at all, and they didn't receive the $8.9 million. But of course, artists under Rock Nation are going to turn a blind eye to whatever Jay-Z's doing because they don't want to be involved in anything against him because they basically all work together. Now I'm going to end the video, and I'll catch you guys soon.